Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Mike McMullen. I'm president of the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce. If anyone sees Father Mark, please let me know so we can have him do the actual blessing to get the meeting started here soon. So we've got a couple of announcements before we go off to eat. I just want to thank everybody for being here. This is our first stab at an event like this, and we're very happy to do it. We're very proud to do it. Law enforcement, fire, first responders is critically important to the business community, to all of us as actual residents, and to the actual community at large. So I just want to thank each one of you here who serves in that capacity, and start by, let's give everybody a round of applause, please. And of course, events like this through the Chamber can't happen without our sponsors. So we have some sponsors I'd like to recognize. We found him. Good, my heart's not beating as fast. Thank you. Just to think, from my old days, Catholic grade school, high school, college, I'd be looking for a priest that anxiously. Usually I'd be like, no, it's okay. I'll do confession later. So our sponsors, I want to thank Carroll Occupational Health as a gold sponsor, and the Community Media Center of Carroll County as a gold sponsor. Give them a round of applause, please. CMC is also filming this. This part is being recorded, but when the program starts around 8:45, it'll be streamed live on Channel 19, and these people are amazing. They are a phenomenal community partner, and we do so many events with them. Our silver sponsors, we have Carroll Community College, Carroll Lutheran Village, and Hankey's Radio. Thank you to them. Thank you. And our bronze sponsors, we have Utz Properties, Westminster Car Wash and Detailing, along with Body Armor and Motorola Solutions. So thank you for our bronze sponsors. We have some elected officials, and I'd like to introduce them. You can applaud as we go through, or if you want, you can just hold it till the end, because that's going to be keeping us away from our food. But, and I don't know if everybody's here. This is who I had on the list, and this is a big group. So I knew that Delegate Haven Shoemaker was going to come. Haven, are you here? Haven's in the back. Carroll County State's Attorney Brian DiLeonardo. Brian, are you here? Oh, clap for him anyway. He's a nice guy. And we've got some of our commissioners. We've got the president of the Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Richard Weaver. You here? He's in the, okay. Vice president of the board, Dennis Frazier. I know I saw him. Secretary of the board, Stephen Wantz. He'll be speaking in a little bit here too. And we also have Commissioner Richard Rothschild. We have Tawnytown Mayor Jim McCarran. I saw him, very good. Westminster City Councilman Tony Cavacci. Tony, you here? There you go. Carroll County School Board Representatives Virginia Harrison, Marcia Herbert, Bob Lord. Are you three here? We've got one of them, very good. Of course, we have Sheriff Jim DeWeese. And he's not elected, but he's someone we have a great deal of respect for in this community. President of Carroll Community College and a member of the Chamber's Board, Dr. Jim Ball. So did I miss any elected officials? I know we have past mayor of Westminster, Kevin Utz. He's kind of still in the glow of being mayor, so he's here. Give him a round of applause for all the years he served us. I also would like to introduce to you the current chair of the Chamber's Board and the executive director of Carroll County Public Library Systems, Ms. Lynn Wheeler. Lynn, she does a great job for us. And anyone who's on the current board of the Carroll County Chamber, if you'd stand up and be recognized, I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so the way this is going to work is hopefully the timing's going to work out well. But we're going to have the invocation here in a second. And once we do that, Miss Lisa Degetz over here, practice manager for Carroll Occupational Health, is going to be releasing you several tables at a time. So if you could expedite it, the food is set up in the back, you can serve yourself down both sides, that'd be great. So the goal is to start the actual program about 8:40, 8:45. So with that, I would like to bring up Pastor Mark of St. John's Catholic Church for the invocation. Pastor Mark, come on up. Good to see you again. Good to see you, buddy. That's it.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And it is an honor and a privilege to be with you. And as pastor here at St. John, I welcome you all for this tremendous event this morning as we celebrate our Public Safety Awards. And so let us bow our heads and ask for God's blessing on our time together. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Gracious God, we thank you for bringing us together this morning. You are the giver of every good gift. And so we thank you for the men and women who will be celebrated this morning as they give their lives each and every day for the safety of our community. Your Son said there is no greater love than this, than to lay down one's life for one's friends. We thank you for that gift this morning, as so many lay down their lives in service to their fellow brothers and sisters. We ask your blessing upon the food that we will share, our time together this morning, and for all those who dedicate their lives to public service. For we ask all of this in your holy name we pray. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it's okay to clap for a prayer, right? And give him a round of applause. Thank you. And that is it. Now we will go to the food line. Thank you. This is a really good crowd. Steve didn't have to whistle. People just kind of calmed down. Once again, I'm Mike McMullen, president of the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce, and when we were acknowledging elected officials earlier, I had missed one, and that was my fault. I apologize. We have with us the mayor of Union Bridge, Perry Jones. Perry, are you here? There he is. Okay, please make certain that you turn your cell phones off, because once again, our friends from CMC are streaming this live, and they're filming this, and it will be on Channel 19 many times, so you can dial back in and watch it. We'll begin our ceremony this morning with the presentation of colors by a unified Emergency Services Honor Guard representing Carroll County's law enforcement, corrections, fire, and emergency medical services. I'd ask that you please rise for the posting of colors. Sergeant Rad Darby of the Westminster Police Department will offer commands for the uniformed personnel in the audience this morning. And please remain standing following the posting of the colors for our national anthem. And the national anthem will be sung by Mr. Greg Shipley, spokesperson for the Maryland State Police. Honor Guard, please post the colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Order up. Color guard, right, face.
Thank you. You can be seated. So please join me in thanking Carroll County Firefighter Robert McCurdy for playing the bagpipes and members of the Unified Emergency Services Honor Guard, comprised of members of our Carroll County Emergency Services. And a great job on the national anthem, too. How about a round of applause for Mr. Greg Shipley? At this time, I'd like to welcome Miss Lisa Deggetts to the stage, as she'll be joining me in presenting the awards to our recipients. Lisa is the practice manager for Carroll Occupational Health, as well as a member of the Chamber Board and the chair of the committee tasked with producing this event. Every once in a while, the Chamber can't do the things that we do just with 2 employees. We've got 560 members, so we've got a very active board, and we have volunteers who give of their passion. And a passion that this lady has and had and still has is to see an event like this take place. So she approached us, and I was like, we only got 2 people working full-time at the office, and she dug down deep, put an actual committee together, and made this thing happen. But you wouldn't be all sitting here, and we would not be taking this time to recognize those who put their lives on the line for us if it wasn't for the vision and the work of Miss Lisa Deggetts. She deserves a big round of applause. So, okay, in a minute, the awards portion of the event is going to begin. All nominees, when your name is called, you should stand and remain standing where you are. And then when the winner is announced, we ask that the actual winner come up to the stage as we have like an actual narrative read about them. And as this is being done, the award recipients will try to get your picture right here in the middle. So we'll line you up here while things are being read or while a video is being read. But I'm going to have Lisa Deggetts come over here right now, and she's going to get a chance to introduce our guest MC. So I don't know if any of you have seen her, but she is in the house. We have Miss Jennifer Franciotti from WBL-TV in the house, and it's going to be Lisa. You can come up and you can do the bio.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here today. I am completely overwhelmed with this whole event, and it's very near and dear to me. So thank you all very, very much. I have the pleasure of announcing or introducing our MC, Miss Jennifer Franciotti, who we made it here. She was has already been up in a hot air balloon this morning, so we are glad you're here. Would have been a great entrance to have the land here. Jennifer Franciotti joined WBAL-TV as a morning news reporter in 2001 after spending nearly 3 years in the air providing helicopter traffic reports. Each year, she joins her fellow super plungers, going in the water 24 times in 24 hours for the Maryland State Police Polar Bear Plunge to benefit the Special Olympics Maryland. Jen is a huge fan of the Baltimore Ravens, and as a Navy brat, she's also a huge supporter of the U.S. military and local law enforcement. Jen and her husband, Mike, live in Westminster with their 13-year-old daughter, Olivia. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Ms. Jennifer Franciotti to the stage.
Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for having me here today. This is awesome. I look around and I see so many faces I know and so many people that I love in this very room. So it is a pleasure and an honor to be here and to be your MC this morning. We want to welcome you to the first ever Carroll County Chamber of Commerce's annual Carroll County Public Safety Awards. And again, I'm Jen Franciotti. Thank you again for having me here for this very important event. It's being held to honor you, police, firefighters, first responders, state's attorney's office, and volunteers who keep us safe and put their lives in harm's way every day to protect the citizens here in Carroll County. Your service is so greatly appreciated. You all perform your roles so critically and seamlessly that we often take it for granted. This shouldn't be so. So today we are bringing our community together to recognize you, to highlight your accomplishments, and present you with multiple different awards and categories because it is difficult to select just one person or one incident for public safety because the overall safety of our citizens depends on you, and we need you, and you work together in teams, you work individually, you work with your fire departments and volunteer organizations throughout the county. We know that there are no lone rangers on these teams of highly trained individuals. They serve with dedication, and they do so with selfless passion. This is, without a doubt, one of the toughest times in our country's history when it comes to police and firefighters and first responders. You all put your lives at risk every day. You often feel unappreciated, and yet every day you sacrifice your personal safety to help others. So we definitely wanted to carve out this day in our history here in Carroll County to applaud you and say thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much. Okay, so from time to time, you're gonna see me just kind of hold it like this. We're used to a camera in front of us, not looking down, and I like to make eye contact with everybody. So I'm gonna be looking up a little bit here, but I'd like to say thank you too to all the participating agencies that have made this event possible. Please give them a big round of applause. You're gonna find it in your program. It's all listed right there for you. So thank you so much for everyone who participated in this today. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Carroll County Commissioner Stephen Wantz, District 1. He's going to speak a little bit. He's going to tell us, again, how much it is appreciated that you guys are all here. He has been serving District 1 since 2014. His district includes Manchester and Taneytown. As Commissioner, he serves on the Governor's Emergency Management Advisory Council and the University of Maryland Shock Trauma Board of Visitors. Now, outside of his career as a first responder and public servant, Commissioner Wantz owned Wantz Lawn Care from 1983 to 2014. He lives in Westminster with his wife, Kathy. Together, they have 2 daughters, and as I learned this morning, 3 grandchildren. Welcome, Commissioner Wantz.
Thank you, Jennifer, and good morning, everyone. This is an overwhelming crowd for the first annual Public Safety Awards. And for those of us that serve, it certainly does all of us very well to see this kind of a crowd come out. Every single day, every minute of every day, folks are putting their lives on the line, and it certainly is an honor to be able to acknowledge those that do that. I am very, very honored to be asked to give, I guess, the first address at the first annual Public Safety Awards. And Mike has threatened me that it needs to be about 5 minutes. And for those of you that know me, Sheriff, stay in your seat. It's tough for me to do 5 minutes.
You've got 3 minutes left.
And now I've got 3. But I'm going to do the best that I can. I would like to personally thank the Chamber of Commerce, and if I went through the list of folks that sat around the table, and I did pop into one of those meetings that put this together, I would miss somebody. So just thank you to everyone who put this together to honor those that serve. Public safety, the ultimate responsibility of those of us that are elected, whether it's on the local, municipal, state, federal level. Its meaning is essentially delivering life-saving services, crime and violence prevention, preparing for natural disasters, domestic terrorism, and the list goes on and on. And you know, the public generally becomes complacent when it comes to those services that we deliver. They automatically assume that when they call that number, they're going to just get whatever comes. The majority have little or no idea what occurs prior to those calls and the sacrifice that surrounds the preparation and delivery. Each and every day, public safety personnel exhibit exceptional courage, extraordinary decisiveness, and remarkable decision-making, in most cases involving split-second decisions, in situations where there is not the slightest room for error. And remember, all risk their lives without hesitation on behalf of total strangers. It goes without saying that these dedicated public servants make incredible contributions to their communities beyond measure. We saw that a little bit last week when the governor was here, and we recognized a gentleman from Mount Airy, 95-year-old Oscar Baker, 70-plus years of public service. There's the prime example. Now, I've been involved in public safety for over 40 years in many jurisdictions, and I've lived these sacrifices. A few short 3 years ago, coming up next week, I lived it firsthand when one of my dearest friends and brothers in the fire service died in the line of duty. I remember where I was and what I was doing to the minute that day when I received that phone call, when sacrifice took on a whole new meaning for me. Robert Fogel served with me in the Baltimore County Fire Department, and he, along with all that I served with and continue to serve with, go above and beyond the call of duty to be there when life hangs in the balance. All of those folks that serve, whether in law enforcement, fire and EMS, emergency management, and the list goes on and on, will tell you they're just ordinary people. All across this country and great state and nation, ordinary people do extraordinary things each and every minute of the day, and to say thank you at an event such as this remains important. Most will tell you we don't need to be thanked. It's what we do. We should say thank you on a regular basis to those who run in while everybody else is running out. We are experiencing challenging times, as Jennifer pointed out, and the heroic efforts by all should never go unnoticed. Every day, we are surrounded by negative news. Just in today's paper, another officer was struck in a neighboring county. Negative news seems to be never-ending. Thank you for all you do. I have and continue to admire all those who I work beside in this business. You are the finest, the bravest, and the most admirable folks that I know. To all of you who serve, both here and across the world, as we should also never forget those in our armed forces, we honor you, not just today, but every day. Take time out of your busy lives to thank those in uniform, especially in the coming week as we acknowledge Memorial Day and all those activities surrounding that important day. It remains my honor to wear a badge and remains my honor to salute all of you. We're family. I've asked a good friend of mine to be here today, and I want to acknowledge his presence. And most of you that are in public safety, in whatever faction you're in, know that we're addressing a serious, serious problem, not just in this county, but across our great state and across our nation. And I'd like to think, and I know that in Carroll County we're making huge headway with that problem, with the likes of Sheriff DeWeese, our state's attorney, Brian DeLeonardo, and all of the things that our health department and all of the partnerships across our county, we're making some great strides when it comes to battling the opioid problem. This gentleman's going to be in the county today. He was here last week also, and I asked him to be here today as my special guest to get a little bit more of an aspect of just exactly what's going on here in Carroll County. This gentleman wears a ton of hats. Not only is he someone that you recognize probably from years ago when he served in Ocean City as their emergency manager, because every time there was a hurricane coming up the shore, whose mug did you see in front of the camera? Clay Stamp. Clay also is now serving as the emergency manager for Talbot County. Clay also, I have the honor of serving with as he is the chairman of the Governor's Emergency Management Advisory Council. And most importantly, Clay is now the director of the Governor's Maryland Opioid Operational Command Center. And I want to applaud our governor and our lieutenant governor for coming out in front of this critical issue. But it's an honor today to have Paramedic Clay Stamp here as our special guest, and I want to give Clay a round of applause. Clay, thank you very much. So, thank you all very much for the privilege to be able to speak for 5.5 minutes. I do appreciate it. Make sure also, if you get a chance, stop out to our Public Safety Training Center. Our 9/11 memorial is now in place. What a fantastic display that is. It gives you a chance to sit there and reflect on just exactly what we're doing here today. And think about this for a moment. Here in Carroll County, and I spoke about running in while others run out, we have 14 volunteer fire companies. 95% of our firefighters are volunteer here in Carroll County. Your friends and neighbors sacrificing their lives, getting up from their dinner tables, leaving their birthday parties each and every day to make the sacrifice as volunteers. Stop and think about the importance of that statement. That surrounds and should be at the top of your priority as you think about the activities that go on today. On behalf of my colleagues from county government, thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't say it enough. We certainly do appreciate all the efforts that all of you put in. Mike, thank you to the Chamber. Lisa, thank you for your fantastic leadership in this group. Enjoy this day, folks. We can't honor our heroes enough. Have a lovely, lovely day, and thank you.
Thank you so much. And now we're going to move ahead to our awards presentations. And here are your instructions. All right, as I call your name, please stand and be recognized. And then I will announce the award recipient's name and bring you on the stage to receive your award. So when you come on, you're going to come on stage left, and you're going to walk right behind me and walk right over here and grab your award. And take a picture and smile. That's very, very important. All right, we're going to start with Supervisor of the Year. Those nominated for Supervisor of the Year are Chief Thomas Coe, New Windsor Volunteer Fire Department, Lieutenant Thomas Kowalski, Westminster Police Department, and Fire Officer Byron Welker, New Windsor Volunteer Fire Department. And the award for the 2017 Supervisor of the Year award goes to Chief Thomas Coe. Congratulations. All right, dedication, determination, and public service are just a few of the terms that come to mind when you think of Chief Thomas Coe. Chief Coe has been a dedicated member of the New Windsor Fire and Hose Company No. 1 since 1994 and has held numerous positions in his over 20 years of service to the New Windsor community. These positions include firefighter, engine foreman, emergency medical service lieutenant, fire and rescue captain, and chief of the department since 2011. A major accomplishment that occurred under the direction of Chief Coe was obtaining a grant of nearly $1 million. That was to provide 8 departments in Carroll County with current self-contained breathing apparatus. Now, this equipment will enable firefighters to breathe while in smoke-filled buildings and to find downed firefighters who cannot communicate their location. Chief Coe leads from the front of the organization. He was the lead medical provider on a drowning incident of a toddler. This incident was recognized by the department and was also a runner-up for a Star of Life award. This is the highest EMS award in the state of Maryland. Chief Coe and other team members were able to revive the toddler who was in cardiac arrest after being pinned by a tractor underwater. The citizens of New Windsor are fortunate, very fortunate indeed, to have Chief Thomas Coe on the job. He is our 2017 Supervisor of the Year. Okay, Tele-Communicator of the Year. Nominated for Tele-Communicator of the Year are Lisa Cooper, Westminster Police Department; Emergency Communications BC Shift, Carroll County Department of Public Safety. This is a team. It's the team of Emergency Communications Supervisor Samantha Flater, Emergency Communications Specialist Carl Luxick, Ashley Bergen, Charlie Green, Kaylin Swartzbaugh, Emily Franklin, Kim Jones, John Krebs, and Ben Robinson. The award for 2017 Telecommunicator of the Year goes to Emergency Communications BC Shift. Congratulations. On August 8th of 2016, the Carroll County Emergency Communications Center received a single call to 911 from a citizen who reported a homicide had possibly just occurred. The on-duty emergency telecommunicators quickly gathered a variety of pertinent information. They immediately began relaying these details to the law enforcement units assigned to respond to that incident. And during the hour that followed, 2 additional 911 calls were received, which revealed additional critical information. So thanks to the highly professional and nearly instantaneous actions of these emergency telecommunicators, efforts of the various law enforcement resources were able to coordinate despite involving multiple locations throughout the county. As acknowledged by Carroll County Sheriff James DeWeese, their combined actions contributed greatly to the efforts of law enforcement resources, ultimately resulting in a timely and successful apprehension of those suspects. The incident is a distinct example of how the professional and dedicated efforts of emergency telecommunicators clearly makes a difference by adhering to established protocols, remaining attentive to detail, and continuously monitoring and coordinating the efforts of law enforcement resources. Because of what they did, a safe and highly successful outcome was achieved. So please join me in recognizing the 2017 Telecommunicators of the Year, Emergency Communications BC Shift. Now for the Life Saving Award. Nominated for the 2017 Life Saving Award are Deputy First Class William Budd, Carroll County Sheriff's Office; Career Shift Lieutenant Michael Hess, Westminster Volunteer Fire Department; PFC Martin Runk, Westminster Police Department; and Career Paramedic Stephen Kehoe, and please forgive me if I mispronounce any names here today. Thank you. He is the, yay. He's a Career EMT, also Michael Erdman, Lieutenant John Bangard, Lieutenant Chad Petrie, EMT Dylan Baker, and firefighters Robert Schwartzman and Christian Hicks of the Westminster Fire Department, along with PFC Sarah Cabasa and Officer Christopher Sell from McDaniel College Campus Police. So the 2017 Life Saving Award goes to PFC Martin Runk.
On June 24, 2016, PFC Martin Runk of the Westminster Police Department was dispatched to a department store on Malcolm Drive for the report of a suicidal subject. Upon arriving at the store, Officer Runk learned from a witness that the victim had barricaded himself in a bathroom stall with a large knife, threatening to harm himself. Officer Runk entered the restroom and observed the victim lying face down on the floor of the bathroom stall in a large pool of blood. Without regard for his own safety, Officer Runk forced open the stall door in order to render aid to the victim. As Officer Runk attempted to secure the knife, the victim grabbed the knife and attempted to harm himself once again. Officer Runk struggled with the victim and was ultimately able to safely secure the knife. He then began to assess and treat the victim's injuries. Officer Runk observed that the victim had suffered severe lacerations to both sides of his neck and his throat. He immediately applied direct pressure to the most significant injuries with his hands, continuing treatment until the paramedics arrived. The victim was transported to the University of Maryland Shock Trauma Center, where he underwent extensive surgery for his injuries. Because of the timely and decisive emergency medical treatment provided by Officer Runk, the victim was able to survive his injuries and receive the mental health treatment that he needed. For his selfless and effective actions, which saved the life of a person experiencing a mental health crisis, we are pleased to recognize PFC Martin Runk of the Westminster Police Department with a 2016 Life Saving Award.
Distinguished Achievement Award. Nominated for the 2017 Distinguished Achievement Award are Trooper Jarrett Duran, Maryland State Police, Westminster. Chief Wayne Livesey, Carroll Community College. Master Deputy Brian Colucci, Carroll County Sheriff's Office. Trooper First Class Michael Fair from the Maryland State Police, Westminster. I am pleased to announce we have 2 recipients for this award. The first distinguished award goes to Master Deputy Brian Colucci. Master Deputy Colucci works tirelessly within his assigned patrol area to establish and at times revitalize the Carroll County Sheriff's Office vision and mission of community policing. He has worked directly with the mayor and council in the town of Union Bridge to design and implement numerous community projects with the town. Some examples of his involvement: he organized and volunteered at the 2nd annual Union Bridge Drug Expo. This event requires him to select the vendors, design and find funding for advertising and gifts. He also designed a website for the event. He works closely with at-risk families and youths to provide drug awareness, shelter, and other quality of life essentials. He uses creative methods to battle quality of life issues, including gathering up several juveniles that were responsible for vandalizing playground equipment. He organized a Saturday paint party. He had those involved youths who damaged that playground actually paint the equipment they previously damaged. Good job. That's awesome. Congratulations to you for the Distinguished Achievement Award recipient. Now, our second Distinguished Achievement Award goes to Chief Wayne Livesey. Chief Livesey is a dedicated, talented, and inspired law enforcement professional known as a hardworking public servant in the state and county law enforcement community. In addition, his work as a college instructor has helped countless criminal justice students prepare for their careers. Under his expert guidance and leadership, the campus is well known as a very safe environment for study and community engagement. Relatively few community colleges in this state organize a security team deploying armed special police officers. The Carroll Community Police Office of Public Safety has grown to 7 full-time and 2 part-time special police officers and 4 part-time security officers. Their campus security team is well certified, FEMA trained, and equipped and prepared for the unexpected. Chief Livesey's leadership, Carroll Community College, has now developed effective partnerships within the Carroll County Sheriff's Office for mutual support and cooperation. It's a special partnership that also exists with the local Opioid Prevention Coalition. Now, he strongly believes in supporting the community, which so fervently supports the college, and as a result, his team has established a strong presence here in the county through participation in a variety of citizen education and awareness activities, including the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce Annual Drug and Violence Expo Awareness. Congratulations to Chief Livesey, a 2017 Distinguished Achievement Award recipient. Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award. Nominated for the 2017 Law Enforcement Officer of the Year Award are PFC Michael Beaumont, Westminster Police Department. PFC Jonathan Cranshaw, Hampstead Police Department. Trooper First Class Michael Fair, Maryland State Police Department of Westminster, and PFC Stephen Curry, McDaniel College Campus Police. The award for the 2017 Law Enforcement Officer of the Year goes to PFC Jonathan Cranshaw. Congratulations.
Patrolman First Class Jonathan Cranshaw started his life in law enforcement later than most of his counterparts. After many successful years in the automotive industry, he put himself through the Pennsylvania Police Academy in 2015. In June of 2015, he was hired by the Hampstead Police Department and attended the Prince George's County Comparative and Compliance Academy to be trained in Maryland laws. After graduation, he began his 12 weeks of field training and was released on his own and then promoted to Patrolman First Class in 2016. Since PFC Cranshaw was hired by the department, he has proven himself time and time again. He is extremely self-motivated and dedicated to the law enforcement profession. He is willing to learn many new tasks and tactics. He learned many of these new tactics and training through different classes to make himself well-rounded in different facets of law enforcement. PFC Cranshaw always steps up to take on additional assignments and never has to be asked twice to complete these assignments. He was the lead officer in the 2016 National Night Out event, which was once again met with great success. When it comes to investigations, no one is more thorough than PFC Cranshaw. No matter what the call, burglary, ATM skimming, credit card fraud, or theft, PFC Cranshaw will exhaust every effort to locate a suspect. He leaves no stone unturned in his investigations and is unmatched in his ability to track down leads and obtain information. He has an excellent working relationship with the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office, who have commented many times about how thorough his reports are. Many of these cases result in the suspect facing significant jail time. In 2016, PFC Cranshaw was a leader among his peers in patrol and was easily able to transition between criminal investigations, traffic enforcement, and community outreach. He was involved in 1,335 incidents, to include calls for service, patrol checks, and traffic stops. He completed 95 incident reports, to include cases of burglary, assault, domestics, theft, and ATM skimming. He issued 840 traffic citations and warnings, which was twice the number of any other officer. He made 52 arrests, to include 45 adults, many of them traffic-related, and 7 juveniles. He also conducted 480 patrol checks of our local schools and businesses. Some of these businesses were found unlocked and left vulnerable to theft. PFC Cranshaw was able to resecure the building and to notify the owners to prevent future issues. In February of 2016, Hampstead BB&T Bank had an ATM compromising skimming device placed on their outside ATM. PFC Cranshaw led the investigation and determined that the skimming device was placed on the machine in more than one machine throughout the county. He investigated the leads, found a possible suspect, and was able to later identify the driver. PFC Cranshaw further learned that BB&T Bank had been the victim of these skimming incidents since 2015, and the suspect in all the photos was the same person. This person was also responsible for many other ATM skimming incidents in Maryland and Pennsylvania. PFC Cranshaw reached out to the Harford County Sheriff's Office, who was also investigating this similar incident to one of their banks. PFC Cranshaw was able to identify the suspect in the skimming and obtain search warrants for their cell phone records. Charges were brought against both suspects with assistance of the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office. Because of PFC Cranshaw's tenacity on this case, several other counties in Maryland and Pennsylvania were able to clear their skimming cases as well as charge the same 2 suspects. This case is still ongoing and continues to develop more information against the suspects. PFC Cranshaw also stepped up to coordinate the department's National Night Out event at North Carroll Farms. The event was very well attended by members of the community, the town council, Catherine's Cause, the health department, and the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office. PFC Cranshaw also has taken the time to work with our students in our schools, teaching them about the dangers of drug use, both prescription and illicit. He assisted the teachers at Shiloh Middle School during their Health Education Week by making presentations about current drug trends with narcotics. He has also assisted the state's attorney's office with presentations at the middle school to parents about the same issues that their children now face. PFC Cranshaw is well respected by the teachers and staff of our schools for his dedication to the students. There are days that PFC Cranshaw will just visit the schools, talk to the students as they change classes and during their lunch break. In summary, PFC Cranshaw is a highly motivated, dedicated, and competent police officer who has a very bright future in law enforcement and is a major asset to the town of Hampstead. It is with great pleasure that I nominate PFC Cranshaw for this award.
Outstanding, fantastic. Volunteer EMT of the Year Award. The award for 2017 EMT of the Year is presented to David Coe from the New Windsor Volunteer Fire Department. Congratulations. Excellent. David Coe joined the New Windsor Fire Department in 1997 and quickly immersed himself in the Emergency Medical Services program at the station. He became an EMT not long after joining and then became a Maryland Advanced Life Support Provider in 2004. In 2016, David was the top responder for emergency medical services incidents, frequently picking up vacancies on the coverage calendar when a provider was needed. He has served for the last several years as the EMS captain for the department, and during his time in that position, David has made sure that EMS response units at the station have the most up-to-date equipment. In addition to his roles and responsibilities in New Windsor, David also served as the chair of the Carroll County Volunteer Emergency Services Association, their Emergency Medical Services Committee. This group ensures continuity of EMS service across the county, and he's also an advocate of the county and state level for EMS providers. Over the last several years, David has worked to improve the equipment available to assist with complex coordinated attacks and mass casualty incidents. David possesses an excellent bedside manner. He is a skilled provider with a wealth of experience in high acuity incidents. He makes himself available every day or night, regardless of the week, to respond to a call or to assist an EMS provider from anywhere in the county with any issue. It is for all his contributions at this station and county level, as well as his outstanding performance as a paramedic, that we are proud to recognize David Coe as 2017 Volunteer EMT of the Year. Congratulations. A lot of talent in this room. Tons. Probationary Officer of the Year. The award for the 2017 Probationary Officer of the Year is presented to Officer Denambe Butler, McDaniel College Campus Police. Congratulations. Since being hired as an officer at McDaniel College this past year, following his graduation, Officer Denambe Butler has consistently demonstrated a high level of dedication to the department and to the community. Officer Butler has easily transitioned from being a student to a police officer at McDaniel College, utilizing his engaging personality with his excellent interpersonal communication skills to effectively participate in a community engagement approach to policing. He has maintained a teachable and coachable attitude with the veteran officers, which has secured the admiration and respect of his peers and supervisory staff alike. Officer Butler is consistently dependable. He arrives early. He stays as long as necessary, whether involved in enforcement activities, community outreach programs, or just simply giving a hand to a fellow officer or a fellow staff member. Officer Butler is to be commended as an ideal example of the values, character, and demeanor that a probationary officer should embody. And that is why our 2017 Probationary Officer of the Year is Denambe Butler. This year's Unit Achievement Award of the Year is presented in recognition of an incident involving the following: Deputy First Class Gregory Piper, Deputy First Class Douglas Crete, Corporal Michael Fitzgerald, and Sergeant Philip Lawrence.
On April 1st, 2016, at approximately 2000 hours, Deputy First Class Gregory Piper, and Deputy First Class Douglas Crete responded to the Union Bridge Community Center for a report of a domestic dispute in progress. While en route, dispatch advised the responding deputies the male suspect in the dispute was on the phone with them, and he stated he had his girlfriend at knife point near the baseball fields. The suspect further advised he was going to kill his girlfriend and her infant daughter. Deputy Piper was the first to arrive, and he located the suspect in the community center parking lot holding a female victim at knife point. The victim was sitting on the ground and the suspect standing behind her holding a large black-handled knife against the top of her head. Due to the area being dark, Deputy Piper utilized the spotlight on his police cruiser to light up the parking lot. Deputy Piper unholstered his service weapon and cautiously approached the suspect in an attempt to engage him in dialogue. The suspect refused to cooperate and began ordering Deputy Piper to put his weapon away. The suspect continually told Deputy Piper that he wanted to die, and he said he would kill his girlfriend first. While attempting to talk to the suspect, Deputy Piper heard a baby crying from a vehicle parked in the parking lot nearby. Because the suspect was standing near the parked car, Deputy Piper asked the suspect if he could remove the child from the vehicle, and initially the suspect refused. Deputy Crete then arrived, and he too began talking with the suspect, at which point the suspect pulled the victim up from the seated position and forced her to stand in front of him with his arms over her shoulders and a knife against her upper body. The deputies continued to talk with the suspect and convinced him to let them remove the baby from the vehicle. Deputy Crete was able to safely maneuver to the vehicle and remove the child from her car seat. Deputy Crete quickly brought the child to the community center, where she was given to the community center director. Corporal Michael Fitzgerald and Sergeant Philip Lawrence arrived, and they quickly devised a plan to distract the suspect so Sergeant Lawrence could approach him from the rear and possibly deploy his taser. Corporal Fitzgerald, Deputy Piper, and Deputy Crete all began talking with the suspect as Sergeant Lawrence quietly worked his way behind the suspect into a position where he would have a direct shot to discharge the taser into the suspect's upper back. Sergeant Lawrence discharged the taser, and the suspect instantly dropped the knife, which gave Sergeant Lawrence the opportunity to grab him and safely take him to the ground. With the assistance from the other deputies, the victim was removed out of harm's way and the suspect was handcuffed. While being transported to the hospital, the suspect told the deputies he was planning to kill his girlfriend so the deputies would shoot him. The deputies' extreme bravery, sound tactics, coupled with exceptional communication skills, ended this potentially dangerous situation without injury to anyone involved. The involved deputies worked as a team, trusted their supervisor's judgment, and exhibited remarkable restraint in their decision to use force.
That's why these stories are so important. Without hearing about that, we don't know about these stories. And so we sit here and we listen to them, and it resonates with all of us, just the bravery that these officers face, but also each and every one of you every day when you're out there. So I'm loving hearing all of these stories. Prosecutor of the Year. Nominated for the 2017 Prosecutor of the Year Award are Kara Freeman, Supervisor, Major Offender Unit; Melissa Hawkinsmith, Supervisor, Economic Crimes Supervisor; Sandra Johnson, Senior Assistant State's Attorney. And the award for 2017 Prosecutor of the Year is presented to Kara Freeman. Congratulations. Kara Freeman is Carroll County to her core. She was born and raised in Hampstead, where she attended North Carroll High School. Kara was hired by the Carroll County State's Attorney's Office in May of 2015 and quickly rose to the position of Supervisor of the Major Offender Unit. There, Kara established herself as a formidable prosecutor, trying and winning guilty verdicts in some of the most serious cases here in Carroll County. Kara, as a founding member of the Major Offender Unit Working Group, spends countless hours working with law enforcement all throughout the county to coordinate efforts to identify, investigate, and arrest those criminal offenders that endanger our citizens. However, Kara is more than a trial lawyer and exceptional supervisor. She devotes her time to Carroll County community events, including serving as a counselor at Camp Cops. She volunteers her time at community events such as National Night Out, Special Olympics Torch Trek, try to say that 3 times, and she does countless other things. So the citizens of Carroll County and the State's Attorney's Office are most fortunate to have Kara Freeman on her side, and it is with great pleasure that the Chamber of Commerce recognizes Kara Freeman as the 2017 Prosecutor of the Year. Correctional Officer of the Year. The award for the 2017 Correctional Officer of the Year goes to Deputy Nicholas Clark. Step right up. Correctional Deputy Nick Clark has been employed with the Sheriff's Office since May 12th of 2011. He is currently assigned to the Classification Unit within the Security Services Division. Deputy Clark has been identified by his commander as assisting newer members of the classification staff to become acclimated to their assignments. Nick is always prepared to take on extra work. He provides direction to fellow coworkers when needed. He is very pleasant to work with and shows respect to his fellow workers and to the inmates. Deputy Clark consistently seeks out new techniques. He is always willing to go the extra mile. He performs his duties properly and efficiently. He's always punctual. He brings a positive attitude to the workplace every day. He regularly volunteers for additional duties, and he is a true team player. He gets the job done correctly the first time in a highly efficient and effective manner, and his dedication and commitment to duty is something that his fellow employees can really emulate. So we are proud to name him our 2017 Correctional Officer of the Year. Outstanding Citizen Award. Nominated for the 2017 Outstanding Citizen of the Year Award are Deputy Correctional Officer Jack Medeiros and his wife Tamara and Tara Myers. The award for 2017 Outstanding Citizen goes to Jack and Tamara Medeiros. These guys are going to make me cry up here. All right, Carroll County Deputy First Class Jack Medeiros devotes much of his time and energy to ensure that the mission and purpose of Rita's Closet, which is a community scholarship program, is a success. And to fully understand and appreciate the efforts of Jack and his wife, one must know the story behind the scholarship program. Rita Marie Medeiros was a bright light in any room. Her family says that's just how it was from the moment that she was born. She was a triplet. Rita was always singing and she was dancing. She loved to toe dance. She twirled the baton. She was a cheerleader. She was a rugby player. She played 5 different instruments and was a member of the Westminster High School Marching Band. And she wanted to be a nurse. On April 3rd of 2012, Rita died in a weather-related automobile accident. Rita was a junior at Westminster High School when she was driving home from her part-time job. The very last picture taken of Rita was of her trying on the gown that she bought for her junior prom. That dress was in the back seat of the car at the time of the accident. She was buried in her prom gown. To keep her beautiful memory alive, Jack and Tamara decided to start a scholarship program to help young women pursue their dreams. They wanted to raise money, so they have new and used gowns and other donated formal wear that would be sold at discounted prices and for those in need, and so that there would be no charge for these people. And thanks to the brains of Tamara and the muscles of Jack, hundreds of gowns have now been collected and sold. And one can only imagine the effort that's required to collect, display, to sell the gowns. These are formal dresses and tuxedos that have been donated, all to support the cause. The fundraising efforts now include bridal shows and teas, and it is the spirit that was Rita's that is in every part of each and every event. Rita's Closet is a registered nonprofit fund and funds of the Community Foundation of Carroll County. The program received the Donald Schaefer Award. Rita's Closet is an effort of love and dedication that deserves to benefit promising high school students and their families. It is truly an honor to present you with the 2017 Outstanding Citizens Award. Thank you. And we have a Youth Citizen Award. The award for the 2017 Outstanding Youth Citizen goes to Benjamin Cook. So on November 6, 2016, at approximately 2:30, the Lineboro Volunteer Fire Department was dispatched to a report of a cardiac arrest located in the parking lot of the Walmart shopping center in Hampstead. Information while responding was that there was a male subject in the vehicle and CPR was in progress. And when they arrived, they were informed by a bystander that the patient was found slumped over the steering wheel, blue in color, and not breathing. That patient was placed on the ground where CPR was administered prior to the arrival of EMS. And the person performing that CPR was Benjamin Cook. He was a Boy Scout with our local Troop 665. Ben learned CPR as part of his Boy Scout program. His actions that day helped sustain the patient until additional help arrived. The patient was quickly resuscitated by the arriving EMS units. Ben's selfless decision to act and not just stand by and be another bystander made all of the difference that day. He was prepared, he was willing to do his duty, and he helped someone in need. He is exactly the type of citizen that our scouting programs are fostering in our communities every day, and this is why Benjamin Cook is our 2017 Outstanding Youth Citizen. The Bronze Medal of Outstanding Performance. Nominated for the 2017 Bronze Medal of Outstanding Performance are Career Shift Lieutenant Michael Hess, Westminster Volunteer Fire Department, PFC Timothy Reif, and PFC Vincent Rizzo, Westminster Police Department, Sergeant Jeffrey Schuster, Detective Todd Rutledge, and Detective David Jones from the Criminal Investigations Bureau. And the award for the 2017 Bronze Medal of Outstanding Performance goes to Sergeant Jeffrey Schuster, Detective Todd Rutledge, and Detective David Jones. Congratulations.
On December 7, 2016, a lone male entered the PNC Bank on Engler Road in Westminster, wearing gloves and with a nylon stocking pulled over his face. He approached the teller and displayed a handgun, demanding that money be placed on the counter. After obtaining cash from 2 teller stations, the suspect fled the bank in a white 2017 Hyundai. A witness was able to provide only part of the tag number on the car. The same suspect was also believed to have been responsible for a very similar bank robbery in Hagerstown just 5 days earlier. During the Hagerstown robbery, the suspect fired 1 shot into the floor of the bank. An investigation was initiated by detectives of the Westminster Police Department's Criminal Investigations Division, which focused on the white Hyundai and the partial tag number. As a result of a disciplined and focused search, a lead was developed indicating that the suspect was utilizing rental cars to commit his robberies. A car rental facility in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania was located that had rented vehicles matching the suspect vehicle descriptions in both robberies to the same individual. Research into that person's background revealed that he was a career criminal with a long history of violent offenses, including robbery. Additionally, he'd just been released from prison after completing a long sentence for a prior robbery conviction. The investigation now focused on the suspect, Edwin Horner, of Shiremanstown, Pennsylvania. On December 13, 2016, the car rental facility in Harrisburg alerted Sergeant Schuster that Horner had just rented another vehicle from their facility. Believing that another bank robbery was imminent, other agencies involved in the investigation were contacted and a plan of action was formulated. The Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI assisted with the surveillance of the suspect and the preparation of a search warrant for the suspect's residence in Shiremanstown. The warrant was served on December 14th, and Horner was taken into custody without incident or injury. The search of the residence and the new rental car resulted in the recovery of the pistol used in both robberies, a stolen Maryland license plate similar to the plate noted in the Westminster robbery, and the clothing worn during both bank robberies. Sergeant Schuster was the lead investigator on this case. He collaborated with the Hagerstown Police Department, the Pennsylvania State Police, and the FBI to bring the investigation to a successful conclusion. Detective Rutledge demonstrated great skill and tenacity, cross-checking innumerable car rental records, which ultimately resulted in the identification of the suspect. Detective Jones assisted with various aspects of the investigation and made multiple trips to the Harrisburg area to gather and document evidence. The combined investigative efforts of Sergeant Schuster, Detective Rutledge, and Detective Jones led to the timely apprehension of a career criminal responsible for 2 armed bank robberies. for their professionalism and dedication in the course of this investigation. We are very pleased to recognize these investigators with a 2016 Bronze Medal for Outstanding Performance.
All right, and finally, the Gold Medal of Valor Award. The award for the 2017 Gold Medal of Valor is presented to Mr. Wayne David of Sykesville. He is a true hero in every sense of the word. Come on up.
My name is Sergeant Sean Kilgore of the Sykesville Police Department, and I nominated Mr. Wayne David of Sykesville, Maryland for the Gold Medal of Valor Award. On September 20th, 2016, at approximately 4 p.m., Mr. David responded to a cry for help from his elderly downstairs neighbor after hearing noises coming from her apartment and then her calling for help several times and shouting for someone to call 911. Mr. David had his wife call 911 while he ran downstairs to her aid, having no idea what he would find. When he reached her door and entered, he encountered a man with a very large butcher knife inside of the apartment, threatening the life of his neighbor, who had barricaded herself in the bedroom. Even after seeing the individual, who was later determined to be suffering from mental illness, armed with a very large knife, Mr. David still entered to intervene on behalf of his friend and neighbor. Before Mr. David arrived, the neighbor had awoken from a nap on the couch to find her attacker standing above her in a very menacing manner, armed with a knife. She asked what he was doing, and her attacker told her, "I'm going to kill you." After attempting to slit her throat with what was described as a pocket knife, but failing, the attacker left her on the couch to find a butcher knife from the kitchen. In the brief time he was gone, she managed to escape to her bedroom, lock the door, and yell for help. The attacker then began to stab the bedroom door with a butcher knife in an attempt to get to the victim. It was at this point that Mr. David arrived and intervened. The attacker was very intent on doing harm and threatened that Mr. David's neighbor had to die. Mr. David calmly spoke to the attacker, diffused what was a very dangerous situation, and was able to talk the man into handing over his knife to him. When the man became agitated and tried to leave, Mr. David was able to detain him using an armbar long enough for police to arrive and secure the location. It is my opinion, based on my 20 years of law enforcement experience, that Mr. David's involvement in this situation undoubtedly saved his neighbor's life. She was all alone with a dangerous individual who was having homicidal thoughts. Mr. David was able to calmly and effectively respond to an out-of-control situation, helping to end it quietly without serious injury. Had it not been for his selfless concern for his neighbor and his willingness to act, in doing so putting himself in harm's way, this incident would undoubtedly have ended much differently. I have heard a hero described as an ordinary person facing extraordinary circumstances and acting with courage, honor, and self-sacrifice. I truly believe Mr. David was a hero that day, and I believe for certain that he saved the life of his neighbor. He is truly deserving of this award.
I need to come find you later. I think we need to do a story on that. You were pretty amazing. Wow. Well, this does conclude the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce's first annual Carroll County Public Safety Awards. Thank you all so much for coming and supporting those who help keep us here in Carroll County safe. I know I'm better for it, and I know you all are as well. Thank you to our sponsors. Without your generous support, this event would not have been possible. And congratulations to all of those nominated and to those who received their awards this morning. You are all heroes. So let me now bring Chamber of Commerce President Mike McMullen back up here for some closing remarks. Thank you.
We do have a little extra time, so I figured I'd bring Commissioner Wantz back up to, no, I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. How about a round of applause for Ms. Jennifer Franciotti? What a great job she did. And I think since this is the first one of these that we're doing, and we're doing a second, we need to get your commitment right now. You're coming back for next year. That's all I'm saying. One thing I would like to do is ask anyone who was involved in the committee that helped us to plan this event to just please stand and be recognized. I want to see you all stand, whoever's involved in our committee. Great work. I should also thank Miss Peggy Soper from our office. She's in the back. It takes a lot of work to help to put one of these together on the back end. And again, all of our, just everybody who's been here, sponsors, all of you who put your lives on the line every day for us, you're all heroes, you're all winners. I mean, it's hard to pick who's going to win something like this. You're all winners. You put your uniform on, you put your life on the line, you're all winners in our book. I want to thank you. We did call this the actual 2017 awards. I know a lot of the events, actually all of them happened last year, but we're giving these awards out in the middle of this year, so we took the liberty. I know if you're confused about that, I figured I just wanted to kind of make a disclaimer. And I think that's it. Am I forgetting anything? No, but we need to bring Pastor Mark back. Is Pastor Mark in? Here he is. We'll bring him back up for the benediction. When he's finished with the prayer, you can all be dismissed. There could be some coffee and water in the back, I'm not sure. But thank you again, everyone, for coming, and please welcome Pastor Mark back up on the stage.
Let us pray. God of grace and God of glory, you have established positions of authority, power, and responsibility by which we might live together in peace and justice. Into this relationship of duty and service, you have called people to lead us in governmental positions and as public safety officers. We thank you for those who have said yes to this call. In our days when it is an easy temptation to disrespect those in authority, may we remember the heavy weight they bear and support them with our prayers and our actions. We pray that those who govern us will do so with attentiveness to justice for all people and for the strengthening of the common good. Help them to reach beyond partisanship so that they may govern well with diligence for the needs of all. We pray that your Spirit will move them into a spirit of cooperation, and where they need to take risks to move us boldly into the future, may their decisions not adversely affect those they serve, especially those who are the most vulnerable. We pray for those who serve as public safety officers, that they will exercise their authority with care, with respect for all people, and with attentiveness to your presence in their lives. Grant them patience when dealing with difficult people, and wisdom when dealing with difficult situations. We pray that they would be kept from having to use physical force to maintain the common good, but should it so occur, may they exercise their authority with forbearance and with wisdom. Bless all of those who serve us in your good creation, and be companions one to the other who seek to love, peace, and justice for all. As we walk together through the journey of life you have given us, direct our thoughts and our actions to one another in ways that work to build up our community in the harmonious relationship you have intended since the beginning of creation. We thank you for this morning. We thank you for the bravery and courage that has so wonderfully been celebrated. And we ask all these prayers in Jesus' name, amen. God bless you all.